Open any app today, and you'll see an endless avalanche of new productive habits to implement, countless techniques to try out, and self-development routines to repeat every day. It looks like something productive. It seems productive, but unfortunately, in most cases, it's nothing more than procrastination in disguise. An activity that keeps you away from that one thing that actually has the potential to change your life, which is courage. When I discovered personal development, I was literally at rock bottom. I hated my life, hated how it looked, who I was, and what I did every day. So when I discovered personal development, I was incredibly fascinated by it. Self-improvement was literally a lifeline for me. I started watching Hamza, Chris Williamson, Andrew Huberman, and the rest. I implemented literally everything from them: reading books, training at the gym, meditation, gratitude, and all these good habits, and for a while it worked. Thanks to these things, I built an attractive physique, got rid of my addiction to games and pornography, took care of my diet, and fixed my mental health. But after a few months, I began to feel emptiness. I was doing all these good things, but I was still stuck in the same place, and only after some time I understood why. Because I was constantly hiding behind these positive habits, convincing myself that I was productive, while in reality avoiding that one thing that I knew deep down I should do. My dream has always been to build my own business and achieve financial independence. But instead of actually working on my business, I was hiding behind a 2-hour morning routine. Instead of just starting to work, I had to keep preparing myself for that work. Days, weeks, and months passed, and my project still didn't move forward. And this is exactly the main problem of today's self-improvement. Very often it is nothing more than an illusion and even mental masturbation. Of course, don't get me wrong, cold showers, gym, meditation, and so on, all these habits are worth including in your daily routine. The problem begins when all these positive practices become nothing but an obstacle. They become the thing that constantly keeps you from doing the hard thing you know you should be doing to make real progress in life. Instead of just starting to work, you still need to take a cold shower, because without that, you don't even have a reason to work, right? Nietzsche called the true transformation downgoing. It is a willing entry into fear, sacrifice, and pain in order to break free from that version of yourself that's holding you back. That version of you that you no longer want to be. Painful, but necessary for true growth. In practice, it may be ending those toxic relationships that keep holding you back, leaving the job you hate, breaking free from your addictions, and maybe following that risky life path your heart keeps whispering about. Real change is not born from ice baths or meditation, but from confronting those monsters you keep deep down in your subconscious. That descent hurts, but it's the only path that leads to real growth. Life rewards courage above all, not productivity. That's why to rise, you first have to go down. In the past, growth meant learning new languages, developing new skills, building a healthy, attractive, but above all functional physique, building stability in life, building relationships with others. Financial gurus, literally fucking everywhere these days, each with a Lambo and an apartment in Dubai, with collections of watches worth millions, and also with $999 courses about dropshipping that will help you escape the matrix. Most of them have no idea what they're talking about. They are nothing more than liars and actors, hoping to profit from your feelings of fear and shame. And the effect of all this? Paralysis by analysis. We consume more and more new guides about how to improve our life, how to make money quickly, ideally without any effort, instead of taking that one hard step that is necessary to actually make progress in life. You must realize one fundamental thing, that gaining and having knowledge literally changes nothing in your life until you start applying that knowledge. Your skills grow from taking action, not from watching more self-improvement guides on YouTube. And all this content only feeds our insecurity. Buying expensive cars or expensive watches is very often just seeking approval from others. And of course, these things are not bad in themselves. If you want to have them, go ahead, Absolutely. However, do these things for yourself, not to impress others, because otherwise you'll face a really sad reality, where your sense of self-worth depends on external things you have absolutely no control over. What's worse, you'll realize that people don't give a fuck about you anyway, no matter if you drive a Maybach or a Fiat Seicento, because everyone is too focused on themselves to even notice you. Things like health, financial stability, a good physique, good relationships with people, and working on a project that truly gives you joy are far more satisfying than materialistic trophies. True satisfaction is not a garage full of cars and 10 yachts. It's health, family, friends, and peace of mind. These things matter more than luxury just for show, because they serve life, not image. Another trap of self-improvement that I very often notice is convincing yourself that loneliness is okay because you're ambitious. Of course, if you're just starting out with personal development and you have friends who constantly hold you back, then you'll have to distance yourself from them and be alone for a while. However, once you've made progress in life and become a more valuable person, it's entirely up to you whether you'll still be alone. It's entirely up to you whether you'll build new valuable friendships. The truth is that you can have great friends and a valuable woman and still keep growing. However, to do that, you'd have to step out of your comfort zone, actually talk to these people, risking rejection. But of course, it's easier to say that you don't have time or energy to talk to others, right? But we both know that's bullshit. And I know it because I was in that situation for a long time. In this way, you sacrifice real growth, which is courage, for fake growth, which is all these empty habits. You limit your personal development only to its most primitive level, forgetting that personal growth also means developing your social skills and romantic skills. Growth also means developing your artistic and language skills. So please, stop limiting yourself so much. I know you think that the only things that matter in life are good physique and money, because that's what all these idiots on the internet told you. But I want you to realize that life is much more than just those two things. Life is also about relationships with others. Life is also about beauty, art, and love. That's why, focus on true, holistic personal growth, which will help you become a complete man. Become a man who is strong, attractive, financially independent, but also charismatic, instead of being just a fragment of that. All right, let's now move on to the practical steps you could take to actually solve this problem. So first, choose one dissent, meaning one action that you've been postponing for a long time, but you know you should do, and just do it today, ideally right after watching this video. Even in the smallest possible way. Just take that first, hardest step towards doing that thing you've always wanted to do. Second, limit the number of habits. Instead of doing a huge number of positive habits, limit them to only a few of the most important ones that have the biggest positive impact on you, and throw out the rest, because they're completely useless to you. Third, set practical, not empty goals. That means count actual repetitions. For example, how many pages you wrote today of that book you always wanted to write. That way you'll see what you're actually doing to reach that goal. Fourth, do a content review, meaning unfollow literally all content that triggers in you any sense of FOMO or shame. Leave only those who genuinely inspire you, live the kind of life you want to live, motivate you, and above all teach you, show their own results, and help you grow. Fifth, define your enough. Write down what a true, calm life foundation means to you. What would you honestly be satisfied with? What kind of life would you truly be happy living? Because that will stop you from blindly chasing the next shiny thing and falling into the trap of materialism that today's society tries to drag us into. Remember that good habits are tools, not goals. When they become a distraction, you have to forget about them and get to what really matters. For me, that was actually starting to work on my own business instead of just taking another cold shower. And remember that true growth is a holistic path, physically, mentally, but also socially and spiritually. It's stepping out of your comfort zone in many areas. developing skills and building relationships, creating an interesting life, not overdeveloping just one life aspect like money or physique. This is not my manifesto against growth, but a protest against the illusion of growth. Real change costs. If you're tired of feeling left behind, stop collecting keys to doors. Just pick one key and open that one door and simply walk through it. And yes, at first the stairs lead down, but you must first go down in order to later rise. And that's it for this video. Remember, don't waste your life being a pussy. Peace out.